It is my honor to welcome everyone to the Tallahassee Police Department for today's press conference. This operation is called Stolen Innocence, brought forth from the reality that children who become victims of human trafficking have their childhood, their joy, and their innocence stolen from their grasp. At this time, I would like to bring Chief Revell to the podium to acknowledge our guests and give a timeline of the events that led to this moment.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you all for being here today. The arrests of this operation are the culmination of the diligent work from our dedicated investigators who have worked tirelessly to bring justice to the victims in this case. I cannot say enough about the work that you all did and how proud I am of each of you. I'm also very, very proud of the collaborative effort that went on once this case began taking shape, and all the agencies that you see here represented have all played a vital role in this collaboration. Before we go any further, I do want to take just a minute to recognize some of our distinguished guests. We have Department of Homeland Security Special Agent Eric Ike, United States Attorney of the Northern District of Florida, Larry Key, Assistant State Attorney Lorena Bueno, from Leon County Sheriff's Office, Assistant Sheriff Percy Griffin, United States Marshal Don Ladner, and also from the United States Marshal's Office, Jason Grunwald, who's commander of the U.S. Marshal Florida Fugitive Task Force. From the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Mark Perez, our mayor, John Daly, and my boss, Deputy City Manager Cynthia Barber. So thank you all for being here today. And again, as we move forward, I hope you will see the work and the dedication, the collaboration that went into this event. TPD Special Victims Unit investigators Beth Bascom, Paul Osborne, and Mark Ray, along with Homeland Security investigator Eric Ike, were the primary investigators in this case. And if you guys would, please step forward. If you would, join me in giving them a round of applause. In November of 2018, investigators with TPD Special Victims Unit saw images of a child that were being posted on a website that advertises sex for money. The investigators set up an operation to rescue the child to ensure her safety as a protective measure. This was a pivotal point in the operation, which was later called Stolen Innocence. The investigation uncovered an enormous amount of electronic evidence that required several months to evaluate. The electronic evidence was necessary to help investigators further develop their cases and determine how many suspects were involved and to what extent. 2 years of investigative work yielded the arrest that you are seeing here today. As a result of the investigation, 72 suspects were charged with misdemeanors. The 72 charged with misdemeanors are based on this investigation. They are the buyers charged with solicitation and prostitution, and without the buyers, trafficking would not exist. 106 suspects were charged with felonies. Felony charges include lewd and lascivious battery on a child under 16 years of age, production and possession of child pornography, and human sex trafficking of a minor. 19 suspects face federal charges. Federal charges include promoting prostitution of a minor, online solicitation of a minor, enticement of a minor into prostitution, and commercial human sex trafficking of a minor. Human sex trafficking is a $150 billion industry worldwide. Florida ranks in the top 5 in the nation for reports of human trafficking. And arrests like these should serve as a reminder of our department's, as well as our partners' commitment to tireless efforts to put an end to human trafficking. I would like at this time to invite Assistant State Attorney Lorena Bueno to say a few words, followed by our U.S. Attorney Larry Keefe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lorena Bueno, and I am a felony chief at the State Attorney's Office. I'm here on behalf of the State Attorney Jack Campbell, who could not be here today. On behalf of my office, I would like to begin by thanking Chief Revell and the Tallahassee Police Department for inviting us to be part of today's press conference. As I stand here today, thousands of children in the United States are being exploited. Estimates suggest that about 50,000 people are being trafficked in the U.S. each year. In 2019, according to the National Human Trafficking Hotline statistics, 1,887 victims, 427 traffickers, and 243 trafficking businesses were identified in the state of Florida alone. The exact numbers in the U.S. and worldwide are hard to define because human trafficking, like many crimes, lives in the dark. It is notoriously underreported. I know it's hard to believe that something like this happens here in our community, but it does. Awareness is key. Social media and the internet have allowed the world unfettered access into our homes. We have found that the most vulnerable of our children are being targeted. They are being exploited, and those abuses are being photographed and videotaped and sold on the internet. Every single image of child pornography is a permanent record of abuse and exploitation of a real child. Children with low visibility in the community, unstable home lives, mental health issues, drug issues, frequent runaways are most at risk. I say most because any child can be at risk. The average age a child enters the sex trade in the U.S. is 12 to 14 years old. 12 to 14 years old. So who can help? Anyone with an opportunity to see and know that a child is in trouble, such as a teacher, a parent, a healthcare worker, a hotel clerk, a bus driver, a friend, a cab driver, a flight attendant, and even you. When did you last cross paths with a human trafficking victim? This month? This week? This morning? Victims can be adults or children. They can be male or female. They can be sex trafficked, or they can be the victims of labor trafficking. There is no one specific sign that someone has been trafficked. If you want to learn more, there are various reliable resources available, including the PolarisProject.org. The Polaris Project was founded in 2002 and works specifically to bring awareness, information, research, and long-term solutions and responses to human trafficking. Human trafficking and the ancillary crimes surrounding it constitute a multi-billion-dollar industry. According to Human Rights First, human trafficking earns global profits of approximately $150 billion for traffickers, $99 billion which comes from commercial sexual exploitation. That industry is fueled by demand. Demand comes in the form of the men and women commonly referred to as Johns. These are some of the people that were the targets in Operation Stolen Innocence. Of the over 170 arrests, the crimes range from the felony charges of human trafficking, lewd and lascivious battery, and possession of child pornography to misdemeanor solicitation of prostitution. Every single one of these crimes contribute to the industry that allows people to be used for profit. These investigations are not easy. They take significant time and resources, and we appreciate the Tallahassee Police Department for dedicating both. I would like to single out 3 investigators from TPD: Investigator Elizabeth Bascom, Investigator Paul Osborne, and Investigator Mark Ray. I want to thank them for their hard work and diligence, and I want to thank their chain of command for supporting and investing in them in these cases. All of this could not be possible if not for the collaboration and hard work of our partners, the Tallahassee Police Department, the Leon County Sheriff's Office, the United States Marshal Service, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Homeland Security, and the United States Attorney of the Northern District of Florida. On behalf of my office, thank you. I implore you, if you are a victim, speak out. If you think you know someone who is a victim, speak out. And to contact the Human Trafficking Hotline, call 1-888-373-7888. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Larry Keefe. I am the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida. The first duty of government at all levels of our government, local, state, and federal, is to protect our people. This first duty of government is at its highest when sex traffickers target our children. We are targeting and going after these child sex traffickers. We in local, state, and federal law enforcement are all working together as a team to dismantle their networks and to pursue, prosecute, and punish those who are involved. Operation Stolen Innocence is an excellent example of how all levels of law enforcement can put it all together and get it done to take down a child sex trafficking network right here in this community. Let me speak a little bit about the role of local law enforcement. Local law enforcement is the front line of all law enforcement in this entire country. More than 85% of law enforcement in this country is state and local law enforcement. Local law enforcement agencies know their communities like they know the backs of their hands. State Attorney Jack Campbell, Police Chief Lawrence Revell, Sheriff Walt McNeil, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and those dedicated law enforcement professionals who work with them have truly been the front line of this operation. Now, as to the federal role, federal law enforcement relies heavily on the equal partnership of our state and local law enforcement agencies to effectively do what we do in federal law enforcement. Federal law enforcement does bring some key resources to support our state and local partners. These federal resources include skilled prosecutors, expert investigators, some very amazing technical tools like you see in the movies and watch on television shows, and very importantly, victim assistance specialist, who you will meet one in a moment that's fundamental and key to this case. Our focus is not only on bringing justice and accountability to the traffickers and to those who enable and assist them, we also focus as well on protecting, guarding, and assisting the child victims of these traffickers. We help identify and liberate the victims, and then we help put them on the path to recovery. Our lead federal prosecutor is Michelle Spavin, whose mission is to bring justice and accountability to these traffickers. Our victim assistant specialist is Ms. Kelly Doherty, whose mission is to help put the victims on a path to recovery and to help them begin normal, healthy, and productive lives. The lead federal law enforcement agencies in this operation are the Department of Homeland Security Investigations and the United States Marshals Service. Though they've been recognized a little bit already, I want to do so again with a few. I'd like Assistant United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida, Michelle Spavin, to stand up just briefly. Thank you, Michelle. And in particular, I would like Victim Assistant Specialist Kelly Doherty to stand to be recognized as well. In addition to the wonderful state and local investigators that we have in this case, one of our federal component law enforcement members who's been recognized already, but I want to recognize him again, is Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Eric Ike. And we have our U.S. Marshals here with us today, including our U.S. Marshal himself, Don Ladner. They were very integral and important in executing these warrants and executing these arrests. I have to say one more thing about Michelle Spavin while we're here before we move on. She has also, in addition to being an Assistant United States Attorney bringing the federal cases, she has also been sworn in as a Special Assistant State Attorney in this case, so that she can work together with State Attorney Jack Campbell and Assistant State Attorney Lorena Bueno on the cases that will be prosecuted in the state court. In this operation, and in similar other operations, there has been tremendous teamwork, coordination, and collaboration between these local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies to put all of these state and federal cases together to detect, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these child trafficking networks, and to track the money and unlock the financial chains, and to better understand the connection of child sex trafficking networks to other forms of organized crime, violence, and corruption. But our work is not done. Regrettably, there is no finish line here. The local, state, and federal team that we have assembled here must remain in place, and it must remain vigilant. For so long as I am the United States Attorney here in the Northern District of Florida, I will do everything I can to make sure that these federal resources continue to support this team that you see here before you. I will continue to support and provide resources and assistance to the extent that I can and am able to your state attorney, your police department, and your sheriff who protect your children and guard your community. In addition to these law enforcement agencies that bring justice and accountability to those involved in sex trafficking, it is partnerships, and I will repeat it and say it again. It is partnerships among law enforcement, the private sector, academic institutions, the media, civil society, and faith-based organizations that we need. We need these partnerships for the long-term support, assistance, and recovery of these young victims. The last thing I want to say that I think is perhaps the most important theme here from my perspective is we must not overly focus on these traffickers and forget the victims. The victims need our continuing help. We must all continue to be there for them in every way that we can from whatever part of society we come from. Thank you.
On behalf of Chief Revell and the entire police department, we want to thank you for joining us today. Public record documents related to this case are available right now on talgov.com/OSI records. Thank you for coming and enjoy the rest of your day.